Okay. I'll probably be streaming for about an hour now, and I expect no one to be in this room. That's fine. Let's just see if I can... I'm going over here. So I am Ash Monif, CEO of Grimm. Hello. And this is kind of like an open live Skype / working session. Here I'm happy to answer anyone's questions if they have any for me about life as game developer, our projects, things that we're doing. Pretty much it's an open forum. So whatever and however you guys want to talk about stuff, happy to do it. So I figure a good place to start. So right now I'm working on a couple items right now. Let's see. see, is there anyone in the chat? Why in the dark so long? Hey, we actually got people here. Hey guys, hi. Great question. So let me see if I can lower the music, and I will talk to you. Do you want the long answer or a short answer? I think that's where we start with all this. Why in the dark for so long? Long. Okay. So, Grimm Bros is a very small, tiny studio. It's basically myself, Randus, and a bunch of kind of friends and colleagues that we've met over the years. We have a lot of projects that we want to do. We're ambitious, but at the end of the day, we are 100% indie, meaning we don't have publishers bankrolling us. So all the money I pay our contractors, our artists, our engineers, that kind of comes from myself, with some help from Randus and friends and family. So unfortunately, we live in a society that needs money in order to do stuff, and we've looked at other funding options, such as relocating our offices to other countries that have funds for the arts. But at this day and stage, it's basically all coming out of we're self-funding. It's all out of pocket. It's been helpful that we've released a game, Dragonfin, and we've gotten some sales out of it. But the monies, we didn't hit it big. Just to be clear, Dragonfin Soup was a game we wanted to make because we're passionate about gaming and we love games. It doesn't really necessarily have anything to do with winning the lottery. So as much as I'd like to be successful as my good friend Sean Velasco with Shovel Knight, we haven't hit that level of success with Dragonfin, and that's okay with us. We treat this as an art. So the reason you haven't heard from us in such a long time, long story short, is because we wanted to make sure we had an update, not just coming soon or we're still working on it. That, and there's been a lot of changes to Grimm Bros. Unfortunately, also we're human beings and we have real lives. So since the last time we did updates, which was this past summer, Randus has gone on sabbatical. So he's kind of off doing his own thing for a bit. Unfortunately, his life kind of imploded. He was in a long-term relationship that ended. And as many of you know, that can be extremely painful and difficult. So he's dealing with that right now. And so the best way for me to be his partner and friend is just to let him just deal with it, So that's kind of that answer and why you haven't heard too much. And if you think about it, Randus is my partner, and because I don't have his talent, his input, a lot of things are going to take a lot longer than they used to, right? So we had to kind of readjust to the kind of the new timescales. Does that answer your question a little bit? Tiny bit. All right, let's see what else. Okay, sure. So let me see what we're working on. I did put out an update on social media, Twitter, Facebook, that we are renewing patches and development on everything. So that's the good news. We've had a couple setbacks there. We recruited some people we thought would be great partners, didn't really quite work out. So we're now reformatted, refactored. We got our team kind of refocused. So we'll be doing updates to Dragonfin. We are, of course, working on other projects, work for hire that we can't share or talk about because That's really just to keep the lights on and to save up funds. And then a new project, which we can talk a little bit about. But I know a lot of you are kind of like, fix Dragon Pin for first, and I get it. So. Okay, this is good. So do you guys have any questions about game development, indie game development, state of the industry, what's going on? If not, let me know. I'm just going to start working. So if you see anything on my screen that's of interest to you, or you have questions about, let me know. And that opens up a whole new conversation of what exactly do producers do. So the long answer is I'm still figuring that out. Oh, the PlayStation update. Sure. So let me go into that a little bit. So the first thing that we're doing right now, let me talk about the code base. So when you ship a game, and this is, we roll the engine on our own. What that means is we basically took our own engine based off of Coco 2DX, and we just, it's all in C++, and we rewrote huge chunks of that engine and kind of made it our own. We changed things in the library and whatnot. And when you launch a game, after years of development the way we did, there's going to be some cleanup that you need to do. It's called code refactoring. So the original plan was to refactor the code and then push out the refactored update to PSN with all the bug fixes, including extra chunky. Just make one big update, right? Like I said, we had some setbacks there. We, again, tried to bring on board a developer who we thought would be a great fit for us and help us do this, and it just didn't quite work out. So what we're doing now is, instead of refactoring the code, we're just going to work with the code base as is, if that makes any sense. So we've reached back out to our partners at Blitworks, and we had a bit of a unfortunate, frustrating fallout with those guys, but they were really good. They're excited to work with us again, and vice versa. You know, things get heated sometimes in game development. And so we're going to be working with them to do the patches. And so the very first thing we need to do is go through all of the bugs that were reported, not just on PS4, but PS4, PS3, and PS Vita. So those are 3 patches. Each one has to be patched separately. And so it's not only just the bugs, but also feature improvements. Because as some of you may know, we pushed together, and we were able to push out quite a few updates for the PC version and add a lot of cool features that we want to include in the updated patches. So we're hopeful that what we're going to do is we're going to start fixing those bugs in partnership with Blitworks, and hopefully have some patches to roll up to you this year. It's just going to take some time. We have one developer who's working on this, our gameplay programmer, Mark Wimmer, so he's going to be working with us, making sure all that is done, if that makes sense. So, long story short, we love the game, and we are very thankful for the community who support us. It's just we hit a few road bumps this past year in 2016. And one of the main reasons for the delay, I'll be completely honest, is the indie space is radically changing. If we had released our game in 2012 just on Steam, it would have been a completely different story. Um, this market's very saturated. Discoverability is really tough, and because there's so many choices, a lot of gamers, instead of being like, "Oh, hey, great job on creating an indie title and getting it out there and it's beautiful," they're comparing it to AAA titles, being like, "Oh, it just doesn't quite scratch that itch." And so that level of saturation in the market, um, you know, surprised us because we thought everybody would think it's a cool game and like it. Instead, it was compared to so many other games, and that's competition, right? You can't really avoid that too much, but it was a bit surprising. So, um, so yeah, that's the long story of where we are with the PlayStation updates for PS4, PS3, PS Vita. Um, I think the one that's going to take the most work is probably going to be Vita, simply because the hardware is the most difficult to optimize for. So we'll probably be hitting the hardest targets first. So hopefully Vita users will be happy to hear that we're gonna try to get the Vita up and running, as our first primary target for patches. Cool. Okay. So more questions? I'm here. If not, I'll just keep on working. Okay? I'm going to be here for at least an hour, guys. So take your time. I think I was supposed to advertise this. I'm not really sure how. This is my first stream, so bear with me. Other plans. Well, thank you, Chuckman315. Sure. Okay, like I said, so to keep the studio afloat, 2016 was a really tough year for indies. A lot of good friends have tapped out. Like, they're not even making games anymore. And it's been a tough year. I think we've now figured out how to survive as a studio longer term. But it's tricky. You got to be what's a good word for it? You have to be scrappy, for lack of better terms. So with our new games, our new game projects, like I said, they're all under NDA. We can't talk about any of them right now. A lot of those are work for us working for other game studios, working for other companies. But what I can tell you is our next project, and I'm excited to say it, is based off of one of Rihanna's key pieces of art. That's the first hint. So if you go to grimmbros.com and you look at some of the images that are in the background, you'll see maybe what we might be working on next. Second hint, it's VR. So there's not a lot of money in VR right now because the install base is too small. But like I said, I've been in the industry for 18 years, 17, 18 years. Randus about 20. So we have some ideas on how to optimize development and be able to create a VR experience that's fun and interesting. And so the next game is going to be based off of one of Randus's key concepts art. It's going to be fairy tale inspired, like all our games will be. And it's going to be in VR. So it's very interesting. Again, we're self-funded, so development is basically based on how much money we're pulling in monthly and how much I can have to spend towards supporting my family and what we can afford to pay team members. But yeah, it's slowly coming along. We are considering doing crowdfunding again, but I think the crowdfunding boat is kind of left. Like the people who were really successful at it can do it again, like the Banner Saga guys and In Exile. But I think a lot of people got burnt. I think even though we were successful in releasing the game, we haven't released on all platforms. That was due to the delay in refactoring. And also the swag got delayed, again, because of my partner's situation. We were going to produce all the swag and goods in Thailand, ship it internationally, and that just could not happen. fortunately. But we're still going to do it all. That's the one thing you can count on is, life is too short not to chase your dreams. And if you guys are willing to back us, we're gonna be there for you. And that's a promise. So at least at least until I turn back into cosmic dust. First game that you played that made you go, yes, I need to make my life this. Oh, that's actually a very kind question. Rachel. Thanks for being in the chat. I don't think it ever dawned on me I could make games as a kid until I played Wipeout XL on the PlayStation. If anyone remembers that, it was a beautiful game made by Psygnosis. Beautiful racer game. Just elegant combat racer with amazing sci-fi tracks. And it had the Prodigy soundtrack in there. Sans lyrics. And it was just an amazing experience. You'd play it late at night with the music cranked up, on a sleepover, hopped up on soda, and you're like, it was just this amazing experience. And that's when it dawned on me that this is what I wanted to do and that I could do it. I'm dyslexic, not severely, but enough so that I can't do math. Numbers like to jump around on me. They're funny like that. So that kind of limited my ability to be a programmer or an accountant, or a lot of professions. So when I realized that video games was a fusion between art and engineering, I became very excited about that idea. And so that's when I started slowly dedicating myself to understanding how I could make this a reality. And back in the day, this is like mid-1990s, there were no game schools. Like, there was one. And by the time I found a school, there was only game development, accredited game development school in the entire country at that time. And it was a little school called Cosgrove College out in California. And that's where I went. And I just kind of threw myself into everything, just trying to learn as much as I could. Sure. So please, more questions. I am here. Show's just getting started. I'm making sit here and check email, but that's boring for you guys. Hey, Checkman315. Thanks again for the question. Were there other ideas on the table? Absolutely. So we started, so Rannis and I, we started the company because we were tired of making other people's games and being a cog in the wheel, and it just wasn't satisfying creatively. I mean, yeah, we got to work on some pretty big names and some AAA projects, and but it just wasn't us expressing ourselves. And if you think about, like, as an artist, it's like you get to bring the paint, but you're never painting on the canvas, so to speak. So when we started Grimm, we're like, okay, what can we do with the technology we have, with the budget we have? And we picked a roguelike side scroller because our friends and family at the time, we had an engineer that was very excited about roguelikes, he's a big fan of it, and one of our close friends who was supporting us was also a big roguelike fan. In fact, that's how he got into the industry. And so we're like, okay, let's do a roguelike. Roguelike likes were getting more popular. Splunky had come out. a bunch of other games, and those were like side scrollers. But we wanted to do an accessible, authentic roguelike, which wasn't on the market at all. Nothing, no one had done it. And we were big fans of them. You know, Chocobo Dungeon, Sharing the Wanderer. So we're like, let's do that. We did it. We did the top-down kind of core roguelike experience because one, there was no games out there like that. And part of being indie game developer is you can, but we don't do this, which is both good and bad. But you can develop towards the market, right? You can say, oh, this game is selling really well. I'm going to make a clone of it. Sure, you could do that, but that's kind of bullshit. You're not being creative. You're not doing anything. You're just trying to make money. We wanted to be creative, and so that's why one, Fairy Tales has to play a role in all our games, and two, we wanted to do something that just wasn't already out there. And so aside, there's a bunch of side scroller roguelike light games that have come out, and instead of going head to head with those guys, we're like, hey, we like what you're doing, keep doing that. We're going to do something slightly different. And so that's what made us choose the top down. But we did consider isometric, and we also did consider full-on 3D, if that makes sense. The reason we didn't choose 3D is when we started the game production back in 2012, the only two third-party engines out there was Unity and Unreal. Unreal was too expensive, and Unity was a steaming pile of what at that time, especially with 2D UI controls. And even today, it's still kind of difficult to wrestle with from a development perspective, though Unity will tell you it's the best thing underneath the sun. And I'm sure it's a great piece of software. It's just when you're building an RPG, you need full control. You need full control of the UI, you need full control of the AI, you need full control of the rendering. And so in order to do that, we had to roll our own engine. And so if you're going to roll your own engine, all those factors combined led us to do a top-down type of game experience, if that makes sense. Also, one of the ideas that we had, though we haven't quite gotten there yet, is including a lot more of the community input and feedback. Yeah, we're going to archive this video for folks. We got just a request an hour ago from Prem Raja Sorir. Yeah, we can do that for you, bud. Well, we're going to archive it here and also push it out as a YouTube video. I've just been told that I'm talking too fast because of the delay, so I'll slow down. What do you think is going to become a classic of more recent games? I don't understand the question. What do you mean classic? Yeah, I know. I hate the forums. So our forums have fallen into the darkness. So we're going to reboot the entire forums. We're just going to grab all the threads and repopulate them and move all the users over to brand new forums. So the team that we have, happy to introduce you to everybody. So we have Jessica Jeffries. She's kind of our multimedia guru. So she's up in Canada in the beautiful white north. And so she's going to be taking point on redoing the forums. So I can actually give you a quick thing that we're talking about. We're going to be doing, we're going to be redoing the forums. We're going to be doing the patches. We're working on our next game, which I gave you guys some hints about. It's based off of a piece of art done by Randus that you can kind of spy on our main Grimm-bros website, and it's going to be fairy tale themed in VR. Yeah, and we're doing a lot of little work for hire here and there just to keep the lights on. Don't understand that question. Medusa, Suki. What about Mario and Zelda? I mean, I'm looking forward to playing the next Zelda game. I'm going to pre-order a Switch, and hopefully have some time to play it when it comes out. Oh, okay. Classics. Thanks for clarifying, guys. Um, yeah, there's classic genres that will never go away. So when you refer to classics, and then I might be wrong here. You mentioned the classic genres. That's how I think of it. And then there's games that I think that play to that genre so well, or establish a genre that will never go away. Hence the classics. So Mario, classic side-scrolling action platformer. Um, Doom or Quake, the original, you know, you know, 8, 16-bit games, right? Those established uh, the FPS genre, right? Even though it was parallax scrolling and there was no real 3D back in the day, at least for the Doom, original Doom. Quake actually had some 3D. Um, it's hard to say because the genres have kind of been codified. You know, people try to mix genres to come up with new classics, um, but they've been codified. You know, you got your shooters, you got your RPGs, you got your RTSs, you got your MOBAs. I mean, I would say MOBA is a new classic kind of genre, but even that was around way back in the day. They didn't call them MOBAs though. Um, you know, they're just arena shooters, for lack of better part. I'm not sure if I answered your question. Sorry. But I think Shovel Knight is a new classic. It's basically you take all the good fun of Mega Man and you just kind of bring it back with a retro feel and some new innovations there, and it's a new classic. So I would call that a new classic because it takes the genre and becomes the perfect example, the shining example of what that genre could be. Hey, Winwin. Um, Thanks for your question. Um, Chuckman315, I hope I answered your question. If it did not, keep pestering me. I'll try to figure that out. Um, what games am I playing now in my free time? So, just to give you guys an insight into my life. So I am super papa. So I have a beautiful little boy, just turned 2. So he takes up a big chunk of my time. I am the husband to an amazing woman that I'm lucky to be part of her world. Her name's Catherine Long. She's my wife, and she works very, very hard at taking care of children. And so that's kind of family first, is kind of like my focus. And then I have Grimm and all my clients and all of our games, right? And then that's where I kind of channel all my passions. So this is going to sound really sad, but when you become an indie developer, some are still able to do this. I cannot. Is enjoy games. Filmmakers say the same thing if they've been in the industry too long. They can't. That willing suspension of disbelief is just kind of gone. You know, when you fire up a game, you're breaking it down immediately on its UI, its load time, it's the experience, the sound, the engagement of it, the graphics, the quality. You know, all that's going in your head, and you can't actually just sit there and enjoy it. It's like, you know, sitting down watching a Marvel movie, and you just can't stop thinking about the cuts and the dialogue choices and the lighting. It's annoying as hell. So I actually don't enjoy video games that much anymore, even though ironically that's why I got into this industry in the first place. Very few times can I actually sit down and just zone out. Usually I have to have a nice couple glasses of wine to do that. or a good strong drink. Um, so the games I do like to play when I can zone out, and I'm talking like turn the lights down, put the headphones on, like midnight to 4 a.m. I play. I'm a huge fan um, of the Zelda franchise. So I've been playing that almost. I've played every game, to nth completion, except for one or two of them, which I despise, which weren't made by Miyamoto. Um, but basically, I love the Zelda franchise. I play a lot of World of Warcraft. I used to. I check it out every now and then just to kind of see that they're doing. I still feel like they're the leader in the MMORPG space as a premium experience. I sample free to play titles here and there, but very few companies actually do free to play where it's not exploiting you and exploiting your tastes as a gamer. So I try to avoid mobile games in general as much as possible. Um, yeah, I mean, I guess in general, and of course, every once in a while, strangely enough, I go back to, I check out some shooters on Steam. I kind of build uh, a breakdown of what shooters are doing that I like, that I don't like. For example, I use Half-Life as kind of like my baseline, my modern baseline, and then Left 4 Dead. Left 4 Dead's fantastic. Um, so if you think about it, it's like I treat video games like books. If I need to figure out something or if I need a refresher, I'll go look at it again and check it out. But I don't necessarily like sit down every night and play a game for fun. It's just nature of the beast. I only get like 3-4 hours, if that. If I could live in any game, which one would you? Hmm. 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 I don't know. I don't have a good answer for that. I mean, I could cop out and say like, "Oh yeah, I'd love to live in Hyrule or in Azeroth," but I don't really have a good answer, honestly, um, for that. I would have to say those would be my top two choices. Though, I can't do my most favorite things in those worlds, which is hang out with friends, family, and have a good drink. Well, I guess you can do that in Zelda and Azeroth. I take that back. You can't have a good drink. Okay, I'd say Azeroth. I'd have to go World of Warcraft. It's gotten better. It went through a down period where they were doing some really weird stuff, but Legion's pretty solid. Okay, that's my answer for today, for now. Hmm. Video game trends. Um, well, freemium was a trend that everyone saw coming for years. It didn't surprise anybody. Um, I think what what did surprise me was how, and this is kind of controversial, so please forgive me, is how and part of it is because of competition. Part of it's because of, so again, people are going to hate me saying this. Old school gamers and modern gamers are different creatures. Old school gamers would have to like download a game on floppy disks, a piece at a time, over the internet on a dial-up, and then zip them back together, unrar each of them, unarchive each of them, put them back together, and figure out how to get the game to run. Does that make sense? Like, it was insane sometimes the things you had to do just to get to a game to run back in the day. And we're talking like Apple IIe, right? Those old school days, and the Commodores. And so they were used to difficult, challenging experiences, right? Just simply because of the nature of the beast. Today, controls and technology, graphic cards are so refined that today's modern gamer expects such a polished, high-end experience that they're no longer willing to, or they don't have a taste for, challenges that older gamers used to do by nature, right? Um, I'm not going to go so far as to insult modern gamers and call them filthy casuals, because that's not true, but it's a completely different beast. You know, the challenges and how old school gamers would react to a certain game and how new school gamers, they would say like, oh, this doesn't interest me, because it's just missing all the additional polish that most games have today. So that was surprising. I did not expect, and we actually hit this with Dragon Fin. I did not expect a lot of gamers to kind of skew, because our game polarized a lot of people and reviews, skew so heavily. I thought people would be like, oh, it's nice, it's pretty, it's fun, and that's it. But instead, we got a lot of core gamers saying, you know, you went too far in one direction. We got a lot of mid-core or casual gamers saying, this is too challenging. And we actually saw this a little bit at PAX events. We'd go to PAX, and if you gave the controller to a core gamer, they'd figure it out pretty fast, and they'd pick up on the gameplay and go. If you gave the controller to a mid-core gamer or a casual gamer, they'd die in 10 moves and kind of look at you like, this sucks. What are you giving me here? And we didn't understand that it would skew, that our game would skew so hard against those three different types of gamers. We just simply thought that casual, mid-core just simply wouldn't be interested, and you know, our game would only appeal to core gamers. That's a long answer. Predictions: was Robin designed? Was inspired by Little Red Hood and BB? A little bit. Chuckman 315. Yeah. So, like I said, we always wanted to do fairy tale. We love fairy tales, like the old school Grimm, like not the whitewashed rubbish that Disney does, but like the real dark stuff about, you know, madness, incest, you know, unfortunately, you know, cannibalism, you know, homosexuality, heterosexuality, depravity, jealousy, greed, all these dark, rich, dark essences of man and humankind. We wanted to play with those again. Little Red Riding Hood was classically just, she was messed up. She was always the victim. So we wanted to flip that on its head, but we didn't want to tell the classic fairy tale. So we started there. Definitely BB Hood from Darkstalkers. That was kind of a fun inspiration. But actually, my partner Randus came up with an initial concept for Robin a long time ago. He'd made a game called Puzzlevania that had a limited release on iOS, and there was this wonderful little character in there. And I thought, oh, she's cool. We should make a badass, like pro-feminist Little Red Riding Hood. So instead of her being the victim, she's the key. And as far as the alcoholism goes, we like characters with flaws. So we thought, let's give Robin a flaw. Let's give her something that's relatable, but also that drives her. And so from both my own personal life experience dealing with alcoholics and alcoholism, along with how it's currently portrayed in society, you know, the double standard, you know, men can go out and get on a bender and they're like, haha. But if a woman goes out and goes on a bender, they're like, oh, it's kind of looked down upon. You know, there's a lot of influential, subtle factors that really made us kind of lock into a badass female Little Red Riding Hood. Again, long answers. Sorry about that. Let's see. How long have we been streaming for? 45 minutes? We got some time. I can go longer. Sorry, I'm just kind of jumping between screens here. What's the story about Morgiana? Yeah, so Morgiana, so originally I wanted her to have her full story as equal as Robin's, and the ambition was there to do it and to intertwine their stories at some point, and even to start continuing as expansion packs do Morgiana's story. It's like complete, story experience, all Morgiana. Morgiana, again, it's a kind of a fairy tale from Alibaba and the 40 Thieves. If you actually read it, it's hysterical. So in the original tale of Alibaba and the 40 Thieves, Alibaba does nothing, absolutely nothing. It's kind of hysterical and indicative of the sexism at that time, right? So there's, the open sesame, that infamous saying, because there was this cave of wonders, and this is where the thieves kept their stuff, and so he heard them say that, and that's how he was able to get in and steal stuff. And basically, Morgiana is Alibaba's slave, right? He owns her, and so the thieves are like, dude, he stole our stuff. We're just going to murder you. And Alibaba does nothing against the thieves. It's all Morgiana. Morgiana is what murders these guys one after another in the most really kind of crazy, like old school biblical ways, or not biblical, Quranic, whatever, however you want to go with it, Old Testament. And so she's just murdering these guys, poisoning them, killing them in their sleep. And at the end of the day, Alibaba was like, hey, this is awesome. You did this for me? Good on you, Morgiana. Pat, pat, pat. It's like, holy crap. So we're like, okay, we got to bring her into this world. And which is the fun thing about Dragon, because we can mix and match everything. And so Morgiana came into our world. And so we wanted her to be a sex slave that had escaped, but also trained as an assassin. Her character is also meant to be pansexual because of her abuse. And so we wanted a completely interesting story about that, much darker than Robin's. Robin's kind of tongue-in-cheek introduces you to the world. Morgiana was supposed to be darker. And then Geppetto, which was another character we had hoped to do that we put in our Kickstarter, was going to be even darker than that. So think like Geppetto's like Full Metal Alchemist meets Chucky, right? Just super dark stuff. And so we were really excited about that. But again, we were ambitious and we had to scope back to what was possible in terms of technology and development velocity. Favorite fairy tale? I don't have one, honestly. It goes back to like, what world would I want to live in if I could live in a video game world? There's just so many that I keep discovering out there, and sometimes you discover it and there's a different translation for it, and you kind of get a new insight into what that happened. I kind of treat all fairy tales kind of like as yummy popcorn shrimp. You just want to pop in your mouth and eat as many of them as you can. So I'm not really stuck on any one per se, whether it's from German Germany or from the Middle East or from Asia. I really like them all, and when I get the chance, I usually read up on them. Okay, well, I'm still here, guys, so more questions. Thank you, Siege Games, for auto hosting. Bing! That's a loaded question. Unexpected life lessons you learned from video games. I could talk for hours probably about this, but let's see. Um, Here's my personal life philosophy. So I was a philosophy major in college, and then one night I went to a kegger, and I just got done reading Immanuel Kant, and I was going through logic and ethics, and I was hanging out by the kegger because that's the best place to hang out to meet people, and it just dawned on me very quickly that no one cares. Nobody cares about ideas or thoughts. And that made me sad. And so I got into video games to kind of convey those interesting ideas and thoughts to people. It's like you have to package it. You can't just start talking to people about philosophy. I mean, some people are able to get away with it about talking about really interesting subjects like Neil deGrasse Tyson. He's awesome. Or Bill Nye. They're able to talk about astrophysics and cutting edge physics. But they have amazing personalities and intellect. I just have ideas. So that's how I got into video games. But at the end of the day, video games is just an art form. It's just a form of expression. And if you're going to pursue video games, you need to really be honest with yourself. This is you pursuing an art form. And just like any other, like struggling writers, struggling fine art painters, struggling musicians, you're in the same damn boat. So the best way to consider a career in game development as an independent developer is like, okay, it's like being in a little band. You're gonna have to play a lot of weddings and bar mitzvahs to keep the bills online, and then if maybe once in a while you're able to release your own album. And if you're super lucky and super successful, you can be a big name band. But that's usually not in the works. You're doing this because there's something that drives you to do this. Most artists or renowned artists usually have something inside of them that is painful and that needs to get out. You can see this with Beethoven, with Picasso. A lot of people who are driven or attracted to the arts, like they have a hard time expressing themselves, or they feel depression or anxiety, or there's just something inside them that needs to get out, and so that's why they do it. And this is just another art form. So again, understand that going into games is a way to express yourself, but by no means should you expect to have a luxurious lifestyle. You're lucky if you can keep doing it for a long period of time. I've been doing this for so long, I've seen a lot of people come and go. They burn out, they give up. And so I would say, know what you're getting yourself into. Know that getting into the video game is being part of the arts. Favorite movie? Man, do I have to narrow it to one? I mean, there's so many good movies out there. I would say, you can start with Labyrinth from David Bowie, simply because he passed recently and it made me think of him. I watch a lot of anime, honestly. I don't really honestly think I'm gonna pick one movie, but there's some good ones out there. Like, I think you'd have to break it down per sci-fi, per genre. Like, your favorite top 3 sci-fi movies, favorite top 3 mecha animes, or favorite top 3 fantasy movies, or favorite top 3 murder mysteries. If you break it down like that, I can probably put together a list. But I can't say like, this is my only movie. There's just too much good stuff out there. I've been in the game industry, it's now 2017, so 17 plus years now. Working for myself or for one company or another. Yes, crafting got a huge, thanks Chuck Man 315. Crafting got a huge, nice upgrade on the Steam version. We're going to, of course, move that over to the PlayStation versions. Everything, it's going to be, the term is platform agnostic. The game, Dragonfin, should play the same and feel the same on every platform once we're done with the patch process. And like I said, we're saving up the money so we can pay, our team and our port partners, so we can do the patches and get them done right and get them done well. We made a mad dash to get to the market because we were under a lot of internal and external pressures to launch the game, and the longer you hold off a release, the more higher risk it becomes that the game never comes out in the first place. So we really pushed ourselves to hit a launch date, which we did. So. All right, can you guys hear me okay? I don't think I ever asked that. I'm assuming yes. Excuse me while I stretch and get a drink of coffee or caffeine. Oh, and by the way, like I said, we're trying to be as fully transparent and responsive as we can be, but literally it's just me half the time, and everyone else is busy working on stuff. So if you need a Steam key, like you bought the game on PS4 and you want to check out Steam, just email me. I'll get to you as soon as I can. If there's something that you need that I haven't done yet, let me know. Swag and all that kind of stuff, it's in production. In fact, we're almost ready to show you the Big Bad plushies. So we're almost ready to share with you what the final Big Bad plushie is going to look like. So I think the first round of big swag that's going to go out, and again, apologies on that. That was all going to be produced in Thailand, and then that situation kind of imploded. So now we're producing a lot of the content now in Canada. So we're going to try to get posters, t-shirts, plushies, and one or two other items all sent out in the next couple months here. And also include a little extra, like kind of a thank you for your patience to all our backers. Hopefully the ones that sent us trolly hate mail or comments will now forgive us and be happy with their swag. And those who gave us good encouragement, thank you. We appreciate it. We're human beings like you guys. I think probably the problem was that when during the development we didn't do enough videos, so you guys didn't feel like you guys started. When I say you guys, the community maybe started perceiving us as some type of evil megacorp. So that's not us. We're just human beings too. And I know it's frustrating. You're like, work harder. I get it. I still get it. All right, let's see. Yes, we will get you your poster. It's a promise. As long as I'm not Cosmic Dust, I'm gonna get you everything I promised to get everybody. It's just kind of all on me, and I have a great team that's helping me out. A lot of them are hanging out in the chat. So there's Jessica Jeffries, there's Rachel Monteleone, there's Mark Wimmer, and there's Evan Vala. There's these are the people who are really kind of going to town for me, and really helping me get stuff done. So PC specs. You mean for Dragonfin or for our VR game? Or are you talking about my PC? This is a laptop. And this is my man cave office. Isn't it glorious? Favorite weirdest con memory? Yeah, cons are cool. There's a lot of weird stuff that happens there sometimes that you just can't talk about. Um, People hooking up in random places that they probably shouldn't have been hooking up in. Not me, of course. I'm happily married and have been so for a long time, but uh, I guess some of my volunteers got a little crazy at some of the past cons, and I heard stories about drinking, getting naked, jumping into jacuzzis at major parties like Microsoft. So I heard about one of my guys doing that. I heard about two team members on my team really being into each other, deciding to have uh, coitus while another person was trying to sleep in the same bed. Some crazy stuff. Um, but that's just young people having fun. I think the best con moment I had was when we wrapped up our Kickstarter at PAX East. For me personally, um, we had hit 500% of our goal, and that was just pretty amazing. Um, it was the first time we got on the map, the first time the game community learned about us as a developer, and it felt like they accepted us. And again, I'm making games because I have ideas I want to share with the planet and with all my friends I've never met yet. But I don't do it for the glory of it. I'm not a glory hound. And so getting that successful Kickstarter at PAX East, that just felt like a big warm hug. So that was probably the best time I've ever had at a con, was wrapping up our Kickstarter at PAX East. Let's see. Oh, Windows requirement for DFS. Thanks, Chuckman315. It's actually fairly scalable. The specs are on our Steam page, but you don't need a strong system. It should run just fine on most PCs. I'll see if I can cut and paste it in here, by the way. Give me a second. Here we go. This is literally cut and paste directly off of our Steam site. One moment, please. There you go. Is there someone that I fangirl over? My wife. I think that's what the terms mean. Like someone in the industry that I really admire. I'd say I have a man crush on Elon Musk, Neil deGrasse Tyson, and Bill Nye. Those guys are awesome. Like, if I could work with them, collaborate with them on a game project, that would be amazing. Those guys, Elon Musk is changing the world because governments can't do it. So he's doing it. It's one man, one vision, and he's doing so much. He's amazing. He's a renaissance, a new age renaissance man. Neil deGrasse Tyson cuts through all. Oops. My music cycled through. Sorry about that. Neil deGrasse Tyson's is brilliant. He takes science and makes it approachable, digestible. He's not shoving it down your throat. And his sense of wonderment is infectious. And Bill Nye is just a badass, right? I've liked him ever since I saw his shows as a kid. All right, let's see. We're getting close to wrapping up here, I think. It's been a little bit over an hour. Give me a second here. Yeah, I have no idea what that VBot did. Up your music audio. Oh, okay. Yeah, that's fine. Yeah, I'm here. I'll hang on a bit longer, guys. I'm not, this is an AMA, so this is kind of like get to know you. God, Grimm, you've been not talking to us for 6 months and your forum's gone to rubbish. Just kind of sharing with you what's up and how things are going. One of the things that you should all keep in mind is as an indie developer, you need to, as a scrappy indie developer, you need to be able to be really, really cost-wise proficient. So we have a virtual studio, work out of our homes, our offices, pubs, cafes, wherever. So that saves a lot of overhead. Also this summer, I explained what happened with Randus, but I also moved. So I relocated from Philadelphia to California. So now I'm back in California. But Jade, our music composer, she's amazing. She did all the music for Dragonman Soup, except for a couple tracks which we picked up. She's in London. We got Jessica, who's in Canada. Mark Wimmer, who's near Florida, near Miami. A lot of our developers are North American based, but we're working with a new guy. His name's Misael. You might be seeing him soon. He's a fantastic artist. So he's based in Texas. So yeah, we're based all over. Well, was this at least helpful to everybody? I mean, basically the idea is moving forward to start streaming our game development um, and streaming, updates like this. I think this is the best way to interact at this stage. Obviously, I would love to do live Skype calls and just broadcast this out. But this way you can fast forward through whatever I say, get to the good parts, get to the bad parts, or just ignore it all. But it's more interesting and interactive. People don't read updates anymore. Okay, that really. I've been refactored as a robot. What's my prime directive? Really? Yeah, thank you, Chuck315. I mean, come on. Anybody who watches Doctor Who knows it's to exterminate. Come on. That's no. Oh, it's gonna be if they're smart about it, it's gonna be a female. Um, I think the Bond franchise missed a huge opportunity to cast a female. I don't think the Doctor Who franchise is going to miss that boat. I think it's going to be a female. It could be a male this time, but I think if they're smart, they're going to just get a female. Because they've already been hinting at it and leading at it with the Master turning to Missy, and I think one of the more recent ones, the Doctor had to shoot another Time Lord, and Time Lord regenerated as a woman. So I think it's time. I think people would be fine with it. I think people would have a great time with it. You know. So yeah, I think it's time. Female Time Lord. Yeah, right. Thank you. Idris Abala is amazing. I love everything he's on. That's a man crush. The guy's awesome. I don't know the woman from The Night Manager. Tom Hiddleston? I don't know who that is either. I have to Google these people. Maybe if they got a nerd. Oh, that guy? I guess. It's very skinny. I like that. I mean, if they make him a nerdy Bond, I could go for that. That could revitalize the franchise. Instead of the iconic buff guy, make it a Bruce Campbell. Oh yeah, Bruce is great. I'd love to make a game with Bruce as well. I'm glad the world has Bruce Campbell. Yeah? Well, I wouldn't know if he's muscular or not. But that's good to know. I just think that they've done a fantastic job with this current Bond, and I'm interested to see what they would bring into a new Bond into today's world, right? Because the Bond has become less fantastical and more based in reality. Well, you know, I can't say that. The last Bond was pretty crazy, honestly. Spectre. So. Yeah, it's funny, right? It's a small world. I think a cheesy Bond is more disarming. I think the biggest issue, again, I can't speak for him. I mean, I'm pro-feminist, but I'm not a woman. Is that you know, Bond is always a chauvinist. You know, always kind of like, you know, has to sleep with at least 3 women per movie, and I'm just saying, you know, to put a female Bond and have her do the exact same thing. I was just like 3 guys, just toss one away, like I'm done with you. I think the point will get across quite well. Jason Bourne. Yeah, Bourne Identity movies are just fine, but they're not Bond movies. Does it make sense? Yeah, I mean, that's the whole Trikunkian. That's the whole point of Robin. Robin was supposed to kind of take the whole stereotype and flip it on its head a little bit and just be playful. Oh, that guy. Oh, yeah. He's cool. I could see him being a Bond, but he's the same actor in every movie. It's so funny. I think there was a comedy where he actually spoofed himself by being the same character in all the movies. This is like the stone cold guy, you know. I mean, I guess he could do the Bond movies, but I like him in the movies he's in right now. Does that make sense? I think there was a movie where he was spoofing himself, his typecasted self. It was like that one spy movie that Melissa McCarthy was in. I don't know. It was funny. Games or movies? Obviously, the next Zelda game. I'm gonna put in a good 100 hours into that. Just really kind of taking my time with it. Kind of seeing what their take is on open world Zelda. And seeing how that all comes together. Oh, no, Chuck. No. Dwayne has better things to do than to be a Bond. I mean, that guy, he's kind of like a... I like Dwayne, but he's not... I don't know. I just can't see him. I always see him as a Scorpion King and, you know, a pro wrestler. Well, and then again, Trump was a pro wrestler and he became president. So what do I know? 1 second, please. Sorry, there was a big heavy rainstorm and there's some flooding near us, so I gotta. There we go. There we go. Okay. All right, so we've been doing an AMA for about an hour 15. You want to guys keep going, or you guys want to stop? I mean, we're pretty much talking about anything, which is fine. That's what AMAs are for. If you guys don't mind, I might just put this on pause, come back in 5 minutes, check in on my son. So give me a minute here. I'm going to change it to be right back. And I'll be back in about 5 minutes, okay? So hang out if you want. I'll leave the music playing. All right. Okay, so we're back for another 5 more minutes, and then I'm going to need to put my son Ronan to sleep. So he's getting sleepy. Like I said, I'm located on California Pacific Standard Time. Don't man me. Just opening up a cookie. All right, so let's get the final round of any comments or questions or whatever you guys want to talk about. You know, why am I not surprised at all streams end up talking about sex? Fortune cookie. Fortune cookie. Neo 420. Got some good Chinese the other day. I live, you can probably Google if you're ever interested. But right now I live in just outside of the Sierra Nevada mountains, and it's a really lovely area. Just beautiful, snow covered. We're getting a lot of good water. So many of you have heard of the drought that's going on in California. We're getting a lot of great snow and rain, so that's really good for the environment. Very happy about that. Am I looking forward to Mass Effect's Andromeda? The answer is sure. Uh-oh. I'm going to have to keep doing that. Sorry about that. 1 second here. Let's go to the very top. I got to just get this on loop. There you go. Repost. No, I just gotta get Jessica's track, or Jade's soundtrack on loop. Anyway, we're gonna wrap up here soon. You guys have been great, good questions. A lot of them from my team, so thanks guys for jumping in and kind of fielding. How do you win the game? What mode are you playing? Neo Wolf 420. If you're talking about survival mode, you can technically win it. You just have to get to the very end and kill the final boss. Story mode, there is an ending, and labyrinth mode, there is no ending. Hopefully that makes sense. Story mode. Yeah. So story mode, um, it's more forgiving than most. Hopefully you haven't hit a progression stopper bug. On the PC, you should be able to win it. The game's been out for over a year now, so I guess I could tell you the actual story or give you all the spoilers away. Um, will I ever release a game for Mac? That was the original intent. The original intent was PC, PS4, PS3, PS Vita, iOS, Android, Mac, and Linux. In our Kickstarter, we promised Mac and Linux. So right before we started work on the Mac and Linux ports, and that's when we decided, hey, let's stop everything and refactor the game, clean it up, and then we release it. And so refactoring, you get the latest libraries, make sure those are, that's happy, because when you start building a game, you can either choose two development routes. One is you lock into a certain version of the engine and code base, or you continually update as you go along, right? Problem is, if you continually update, you're introducing more changes to the code that you may not even know what affects other pieces of it. So it destabilizes your code inherently, right? So in AAA development, people lock into a version of Unreal, right, or of Unity, and that's what they end up shipping with, right? Unless they want to keep updating, but then they invite more changes and more problems. So long story short, we locked into an early version, a beta version of Cocos 2DX, and then we completely customized it. And then, so in order to refactor the game for Mac and Linux, we're like, okay, let's go to the latest. And then we ran into technical issues, as I mentioned earlier in the stream. I'm a Red Hood and Wolf whore. Great. Yeah, we love Wolfie, a big bad. And yeah, I think Little Red Riding Hood, all the different versions of it, the German, the French, the Romanian. There's just a lot of different versions of it. It's fascinating, that particular story, and that was one that struck with us, which kind of also inspired us to make her the protagonist of Dragon Prince when we first started out. Oh, that was me. That was me, Chuck. How things go with creative in Grimm Bros, typically. Like right now, Randus is on a sabbatical, just kind of taking care of himself. But typically, how creative goes is you have to have one vision holder, right? So if you have a huge team of, it doesn't matter whether you have a team of 2 or a team of 200, one person becomes a vision holder. A vision holder is not the same thing as a lead designer. They're the vision holder. They have the vision of it in their heads, right? A vision holder can be an engineer, it can be a producer, it can be a designer, it can be a level designer, it can be an artist, a concept artist. They have the vision in their head. And so people, once they set the vision, and then you kind of keep coming back to that person or that touchstone, whether it's a piece of art or whatever, and saying, does this still match the vision, right? That's all it is. I mean, and so with Dragon Pin Soup, Randus was the vision holder. Now, that being said, anybody could contribute ideas to the game and gameplay. But the vision holder held kind of a level of authority. So, he and I were equal partners, so we could arm wrestle over things. But basically, I was like, I want a playable sheep, right? It's classic, it's funny, and he agreed to it, and just that was it. It was like a 2-second conversation. One of our characters should be a sheep. Okay, and then boom, we just did it. Do you ever fight a dragon? Yes. So, spoiler alert, that's the final boss. It is called Dragon Pin Soup. You have to fight a dragon. Favorite joke in DFS? I would say, again, spoiler alert, when you're midway through the story mode, you're going to find a support group, and in there is a serial masturbator. So a creature who just is addicted to masturbation. We thought that was pretty hysterical. Um, and also some really great puns in the game, just as you go through it. Some of the undead say a lot of hysterical stuff. Yeah. And also, if you're ever stuck in the PC mode, like you hit a bug that you can't move past, just let us know, and we can try to patch that for you. We'll actually just send us a save file, and we can try to fix it. So if at any point you're stuck, like you don't know where to go next, or you think you've hit a bug, just to say, hey guys, can you help me out? Send us your save file, and we'll do what we can. Favorite joke weapon? You know, the weapons were designed by myself, Randus, and a couple other people, so there's tons of them. I would honestly say I don't know what my favorite is, because there's so many stupid ones in there that we just threw in that we thought were funny at the time. There's over 1,000 pieces of weapons and armor and crafting stuff, so I'd say there's plenty for everyone. And there's some dirty jokes in there, and there's some allusions to other major franchises like Star Wars and Harry Potter, and little, I wouldn't call them Easter eggs, just allusions. Nothing would get in legal trouble for, but they're there. So yes, okay, Mia Wolf. Um, yeah, if you're stuck, or if you're Chuckman, if you're stuck, just just send us a screenshot of where you're at in the game, and if you don't know where to go or what to do, and save us your save file, um, and we can help you out. Not a problem. We're here to help. Okay, 3 more questions, and then I got to go put my son to bed because it's 7:30 my time. So this is actually kind of fun, guys. I appreciate you jumping on the call and saying hello. So if you want, we can do more of these. I was planning once a month, but if you think we should do them on a more frequent basis, we can. It's just at some point we're just going to end up talking about completely random stuff like the Trump election, and But again, that's, I guess, the point of AMAs. Sorry, Chuckman. Yeah, I know. We're gonna have to get you that patch. So appreciate you understanding. This is the world you'd like to travel to. Yeah, right. Um, I'd say I still want to go to. I want to check out New Zealand. Here it's pretty lovely. Um, and I wouldn't mind spending some time in kind of the rural parts of Japan. I think it's easy to go to the big cities, but I think I would like to spend some time off the beaten path. So those I think would be my top two. Okay, 2 more questions, and then I got to wrap, guys. You've been really great, audience, and really great, keeping me company on this AMA. Is there anything else I can answer you? Tough questions, easy questions, any questions? Yes, that's why I'm taking the last two questions, and then I'm gonna go put my son to bed. Sure, no, I'm here. Yeah, Neil Wolf, just hang out. What is it? Mm. Yes, Chuckman. Um, I've been thinking about doing a sequel because Grimm is 100% indie, meaning we kind of self-fund everything. Sometimes we raise money through friends and family, but we're not being bankrolled like by a publisher or anything. I was thinking about a 3D version of Dragonfin Soup, using Unity or Unreal, and making it more of a cast of characters. We have a couple different designs. Robin would be there, of course, Morgiana, most likely. Maybe get Geppetto in there. But we got to figure out the type of game or gameplay. So it might be a RPG, but it might be side-scrolling RPG. It might be more classic party-based RPG like Final Fantasy. We just got to figure it out. Does that make sense? And see what our budget allows us to do, and most importantly, what kind of story you want to craft. Even if we do, there's also the chance that we keep the universe, but we do completely new protagonist at that point. Screenshot, how do you want it? Boop. What is that? Can you elaborate a little bit, Neo Wolf? Oh, right. Yeah, tell us what platform you are on, PS4, or PC. PC, we can help you with the save file. PS4, unfortunately, you're gonna have to wait for the patches as we work that out with our partners, how it works. Oh, yeah. I like dark wines, so that's the wine I'm currently drinking. My wife likes white wines. I like red wines. Um, Does it, I just find them lovely to sip on. Okay, last question, and then I gotta wrap up. I got a sleepy 2-year-old that wants to cuddle. Oh no, God no. I don't have aged wine. I'm not independent game developer. I'm lucky if I go over $10. Great. Well, like I said, Chuck Man, Neo Wolf, everyone, thanks for thanks guys for coming out. I'll be doing this next month as well. Hopefully, we'll have more to share with you, including some visuals of our next project, some images of the swag that's hopefully getting ready to come out, and more news about the ports to Mac, Linux, and the PSN patches and all that jazz. So, thanks everyone for supporting indie game dev. Have a great evening, and I'll talk to you all soon.